It's the evening of February 14th, 1987, and he has just arrived from Israel.
Yeah, it's February 13th, Friday.
It's Friday
February.
the 13th.
Okay. I'll let the audience correct me. Go ahead,
Well, we
audience.
just told you, it's Friday the 13th.
And obviously Susie
And they
is
arrived
not
safely.
superstitious.
Oh, well, that's what the
She
travel
was
agent
game
said
enough to.
me.
You're obviously not superstitious.
The travel agent asked me if I really wanted to fly.
Well, that's what I said. Are you sure you're coming
See,
on
look,
Friday the
There's a
13th?
feature article in the Star today about superstitions. Of the rich and famous. Caller Cranston,
Oh, yeah.
the ice skater.
Baby,
We have it
who's
at
going to
home.
be 2 years old in March, is fast asleep. It must be about midnight her time, and she was very good on the flight over. So I stand corrected. Where's the mother? Where is she? There she
For
is.
the last 10 minutes, she had a fit. She was hysterical.
One.
At the end of the flight, I told her that she had to sit down and put a seatbelt on. She went nuts. She was just because she was so exhausted already. She was hysterical. She was screaming.
No, you know
and
why
shouting.
too? It was the pressure on the ears.
No, I don't think it was because I was surprised that it didn't bother her. But she
Okay.
Don't be afraid.
Same evening, Friday, February 13th. We have another guest, and he's only arrived for 1 week with his lawn chairs. What do you think this is, summer?
You don't remember me either.
You know what, I'm just wondering, he's looking at Susie. I'm just wondering if he's wondering
Well, Maya didn't know.
Mummy is.
Maya no, he's looking. Well, he's looking back.
what.
You remember me?
Hi, Karen.
Jason!
Remember me?
Well, Maya's down. You see Jason.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, let's take your hat off.
Hi, Jason.
Good to see you.
Hi, Jason.
Wait till
Continuation of the saga of Friday, February 13th, the evening that Susie and Maya have come from Israel. And we've got the entire family
Your maintenance cost.
here, including this young man, who is the star of the evening. Okay, young man, say something into the camera. Come on.
We decided
Say
a couple
something.
weeks ago that we must get one. We took him over to, we were over at Harold Lowe's Levy's, they're his godparents. And they have a video and they took one of him and it was just fabulous watching it.
Who manages
There
that?
happens to be, there's the father.
John Newcomb.
A little tired, he tells us, for the worse for wear.
John Newcomb Center manages that.
No, actually, you know, I think
And the
John
grandfather
Center is really
at the end of the
separate. I think
table, and
it's
the grandmother,
hotel. I don't think it's part of it.
and the rest of the family.
But they-
all the other
Condos are-
And Jamie,
Are they?
and Karen,
But you know what, their tennis courts are not kept, I mean, their nets, you have.
and
them.
Mummy.
Dear Bev, Dolly, and Maya.
I get one.
Well, just writing a cake and we'll be in so we can play today, tomorrow, and forever.
How come I only get one? Okay, so should we blow out the candles now? Maya, you wanna help us blow out the candles?
Come on, Maya, I'll just blow
Okay,
Take care of blowing
one,
up the
two, three, go.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Do you want to blow out another one? Yes.
Jason wants to blow.
Jason is totally indiscriminate.
Boy,
He'll eat anything, he'll touch anything.
Want to blow out some more? You ready? No? Jason's gonna drool on it.
Maya,
He looks so serious.
did you see Jason? In the other room. Where's yeah, maybe we should move into another room. For your cue.
You ready? Where's Jason? Where's Jason? There he is. Hi. Okay,
Oh,
cut.
you're getting in the way, Paula.
Okay, ready?
Excuse
Set.
me. Paula, would you mind going into the kitchen?
Where's Jason? Where's Jason? Where are you? Where's Jason? Where's Jason? There you are. Hi.
sure you get that, dear.
I just did.
And he'll show it to his patients. Okay. Come on, let's go.
It's amazing.
You don't mind if I call your son Dummy, do you? Doesn't bother you? Well, that reminds me, Paula. Libby
I remember
Mandel.
though, when we were married, I knew he was a dishwasher at the Hunt Club.
Car, we do this like full blast, shooting out the windows. Oh, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot. Except for Benjamin, I don't want you out here at the bottom. Lavanda, you gonna get ready to sing it? You want this one? Okay. Mommy will just be one of the squealers, okay?
Okay, you ready?
All set. Okay, well, you gonna say something? Hit it, boys?
Hey, boys. Hey, boys.
Okay, go. Ba 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 la ba ba. Okay, really go to it, Josh. Okay, break dance, break dance. Gonna do a little shaking. Okay, shake it up a little. All right.
Here we are on the in the South Island. We picked up the car about an hour ago, and we're going to be driving from Christchurch to Queenstown, which is about a 5-hour drive. There are the mountains in the distance. As you can see, they are snow-covered. And here's somebody that I recognize.
What's going on?
Say something into the speaker,
Something intelligent?
if possible.
That might not be possible. We are here heading towards beautiful Mount Cook, 200 kilometers away. We're gonna fly up there in a plane in a couple of days if we don't wimp out.
That's it.
It's a dead land.
How do you know it's dead?
Because it was tied by its head. It was hanging limp.
This magnificent view. There are the snow-capped mountains in the distance, and a very deep green. Not as deep a green as in the North Island, because obviously they haven't had as much rain here as they have there. They have had a drought. But it's very, very pretty.
Hello.
And it would cost me about $3.50 a head to get them down there.
Right.
But no, it's sort of a gamble either way.
Do you usually have pretty much the same weather as the North Island in terms of rainfall?
It varies quite substantially.
This is Lake Tekapo, which is almost halfway between Christchurch and Queenstown, where we hope to spend the evening. We don't know whether we're going to make it, because it may get dark and we may have to stop. That's the car we've been driving, and that's the view. It's getting a little cold. I'll just pan around to show you what the rest of the countryside looks like. This is what we saw, and this was what we ran into, the middle of the road. Around the bend and came on Lake Pukak. You can see this interesting colors. With the very interesting turquoise. Really just fascinating. Windy. These hills are completely brown because of the drought, I guess. Through a pass, they're just magnificent views. And what I'm hoping to do is give you the same kind of view as we get.
Did he flash his lights at you?
Yeah, everyone's flashing their lights at me. It's probably because my lights are on.
Yeah. Green trees, there must be a creek down there.
Hotel?
Country Time Club. I wonder if it's timeshare. Timeshare. Can you imagine?
In the middle of nowhere. There's nothing.
Come on, this is Omarama. Tackle shop. Country crafts. Wanaka and Cromwell, straight ahead. Scarborough.
You know, there are lots of motels around.
Indus Pass open.
Whoop. Sorry about that.
Sportsman.
Know what these plants are. Those are the tumbleweeds.
Going right through the pass now. Some of these rocks. We're almost all the way through the mountains, I think. But the rock formations looked interesting. I thought I'd catch some of them. There are some snow-capped mountains again in the distance. I thought we were leaving the mountain range, but perhaps we're not. It's very difficult to tell. We're still about a half hour away from Cromwell. And Cromwell, I would think, is less than an hour away from Queenstown. The depending upon whether we have flat, straight roads or twisting, turning mountain roads. Hills. We've just gone through a town called Terrace, T-A-R-R-A-S. Gordon, stop bumping. The town consisted of 4 little shops. That's the town I should have taken some pictures of. Beautiful gorge that we just passed. Here's another view of the same gorge. Whoops, we got a bus. And here we are back in snow-covered mountain country. And there's a low-lying cloud. And you can see how green the pasture is here with lots of sheep. Part of the Queenston, in Queenston at the Park Royal Hotel. This is the view from our window. It poured during the evening. We're in mid-season now. The mountains are quite interesting. As you can see, there is snow-capped mountains in the distance. This is an old 1911 steamer in front of us that tours the lake, and will probably be going out on some sort of activity shortly. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Later the same day, Wednesday, the day has cleared somewhat, and we're going whitewater rafting later this afternoon. Just Gordon and me. We won't be able to take pictures of that. And Sheila's probably going to go up on the gondola. That's that steamboat we saw earlier. Very pretty little town. The afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, turned out to be a beautiful day. We've just come back from whitewater rafting. The road down to the river was absolutely terrifying. Unfortunately, we didn't take cameras because we couldn't take them into the raft. So I don't have pictures of it. The rafting itself was pretty exciting, particularly the second time I went over the side and into the water. That was pretty exciting. I came up with a bloody nose, but none the worse for wear. I was over into the water for about 2 or 3 minutes. Thursday, October 13th. We're on our way to Milford Sound. It's raining. It's early in the morning. And some of these mountains are shrouded in mist. The land is very green because there's a lot of rainfall obviously down here. Lake in front of us. And you can see snow on top of those mountains.
Teresa, who now lives in Santa Barbara.
Very beautiful mists overhanging the mountains. It's a pretty lake.
Turns out we knew a bunch of the same people. And the 4 of us traveled together for a week. Down.
That boy from Toronto walks under the elevators and Daddy says hello.
Guess what? We've got company on the road. Appeared out of nowhere. I'm going to try and get this beautiful rainbow. I don't know if you can see that rainbow or if the colors are being captured, but it really is a beautiful sight.
You ever seen a shepherd
Getting a
dressed
picture
like
of him?
that?
Yeah.
Do you know how far she told us Milford Sound is for?
390K.
I just wanted to get the full effect of that rainbow. It's blowing very hard. Town of Barstow.
Karsten.
Karsten.
There's the church. And there's the churchyard and the ship. Waiting to eat.
The day has now turned sunny, and if Gordon will stop bouncing this car around, I'll show you some very beautiful scenery. Unfortunately, you have to take in some of the parts of the car at the same time. But at least the windshield wipers are no longer going. We're almost we've almost reached our destination. It's still raining, obviously very, very hard. I'm trying to get as much of a picture as I can of all of these waterfalls.
Do I have to hold the red light?
Hold the red
No,
thing.
you don't have to hold the red light.
Don't
Here
you?
we are. We've just passed through the tunnel leading to Milford Sound. We've got about another 20 kilometers or so to go. It's pouring rain, and we are way up in the mountains with waterfalls all around us and snow-capped peaks on either side of us.
This is the scene. We're spending we're spending the evening of Thursday, October 13th, in Milford Sound Hotel. We've been stranded here. Everybody is now just trying to find places to seat themselves and find places for the evening. All in all, the whole activity is quite funny. And there's Sheila saving that sofa with her life. That's where Gordon's going to sleep on that blanket. And that is Gordon and his... On the floor of the only hotel in Milford Sound because they had two avalanches and all the roads were closed. We're now leaving by convoy. It's Friday, October 14th. The convoy is going to get out and then they may close the roads again. The boat ride did not go yesterday afternoon, nor is it going this morning. These pictures through the windshield because we have to rush to catch up with the convoy. The hotel has been evacuated and all of the buses and cars are supposed to be going out together. probably all lined up to get out of the gate. They'll tell us here whether or not they're going to let us go through. But we've been warned to be careful going downgrade with the ice and snow. We have 47 kilometers to drive in twisting, winding roads through these mountains. We're not snow covered yesterday except at the peak. As we climb up,
Can't see it. You good? I don't know if this is gravel or if it's... It seems like it's mostly slush, but not icy slush. Avalanche area, no stopping.
Well, we've got that emergency vehicle.
Up ahead of us. Yeah, he'll probably stop periodically.
I'm not saying you can't have a blip.
Now, these trees are moss covered. Out. The day has brightened up a little bit. The tops of the mountains are still shrouded, but the roads are now clear. There's still a little bit of rain falling, but we're out of the troubled area and we're back onto our normal 3-star adventures out of the 5-star adventure.
And so when just the guys showed up, they wouldn't let us in. There was something like that.
These mountains that are shrouded in these mists are just breathtaking.
The guy, you know, Japanese people are particularly hairy.
You're right. I was looking. I thought that he had false teeth. It looked to me like there was some problem. There was also something interesting in it.
Comes another bus.
I believe it's the same day. The sun is out, it's not raining, and we're continuing to drive towards Tiana, which is almost the halfway point between Queenstown and Milford Sound. Grazing. You can see them scattered. All those white dots are sheep. That noise you hear is Gordon driving on the shoulder. This is the town of Tano. We've just stopped to cash some checks on Friday noon and to stretch our legs. Looks like a very pretty little town. Here's this tiny little mall that we're going into. It looks very pretty. Inside that very pretty mall, I don't know if you can see through the window that the woman is working on the loom. There's some familiar. You may be able to see the end of this street with the mountains at the background and the park in the middle of the town. We're now down at the waterfront, and we have obviously just missed a cruise. Because the docks are flooded. The water is right over the dock. You're now ready to leave Tiano. I'm giving you a view all the way around on the way to Queenstown. Mountains in the distance, green grass, lots of sheep, and in the far distance, snow-capped mountains. And there is a picture of a tourist. A typical scene along the road. Contrasts of green and snow and tourists. We keep stopping every couple of miles because these pictures are so fantastic, these views. They're just incredible. This one doesn't have sheep. But everywhere you look in the distance around this valley are snow-capped mountains. Another breathtaking view of the windshield. We're still on our way to Queenstown. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sheep, a riverbed, mountains, brown hills, green grass. lovely scene. We're stopped on the road for some road repair. So just looking out the window of the car, it's really breathtaking scenery wherever you look.
Same thing.
Make sure you get the sharks there.
Sheila wants me to get the sharks. Close to Queenston. A little bit of sightseeing. It's that same tourist that's been following me everywhere. Here's the jetty where you can rent boats to go out into the lake. Pretty little town, and looks like it's somebody I know. Another tourist, for goodness sakes. We're going to go in, and you'll be taking a ride in it, and you'll be seeing some views, hopefully. It's still Friday, November 14th. I won't be able to take any pictures until we get around the bend, because it'll be too choppy in this bay.
$1 million. I'll put one out down here. It's built into a rock face, designed to get the sun all year round. That's worth over $1 million.
When were all these built?
From say 1935 onwards. Yeah.
And they owned by New Zealanders?
Yeah, mainly New Zealand. A lot of Americans and Japanese, you know, just different nationalities own them. the hell are you,
360 spin that we just. Remarkables. There's a ski runs on the other side. They're 7,000 feet high.
Reaches up the top of the shot over, they're getting nuggets of gold inch and a half long, so it goes to show there's still quite a lot of gold there. Actually, last year we stopped just up here. There was a lady, she was panning away for gold, and she had an egg cup with about 1/8 of an inch of gold in the bottom of it. So it goes to show there's still quite a lot of gold up there. There's Coronel Peak, that's our other major ski field. We've had a really disappointing ski season. That's probably, I don't know how long the snow left, but there's been very little snow on Coronel Peak. This is the airport. The airport's situated right on that flat bit of land. If you have fluid, that's where you've landed. This is the start of the Remarkables here. They start here and go right back. Oh, well, we'll carry on down now. The river gets a lot shallower from here down. If you look over the edges in places, you'll see we're going in 3 or 4 inches of water. Actually, it'll be very hard because the river's in flood. You can see the dirty water coming out of the shot over. Normally, you can sit here and count all the stones on the bottom of the river. That's how clear it usually is.
It's Saturday the 15th of October. We've left Queenstown. We're on our way halfway to Christchurch today and the balance tomorrow. It's raining again. This is a historic bridge that you can see, that you couldn't see because I wasn't focusing properly. But now maybe you can see it.
It goes over this deep.
Living all day in the heavy pouring rain, going through mountains, seeing very heavy waterfalls, and we've just come to this obstruction in the road. As you can see, there's been a landslide, and we're having to take this detour. Hopefully we'll get through. The rain has been incredible. There's very, very heavy winds blowing, and at one point in time we had to drive under a waterfall that was cascading over the roof. This is what it looks like. We're right along the coast, the Tasmanian Sea, I guess it's called. It's running a very high surf, very, very heavy winds.
We're at Bruce Bay.
This is Bruce Bay, as Gordon says.
On the way to the Fox Glacier.
Might be good for surfing.
You want to get out and surf?
Not today, I don't feel like getting wet.
Slow down, slow down. Go towards the Fox Glacier Road, and this is what happened when we were, after we went to go about a couple of kilometers. We decided that perhaps it would not be wise to go any further, and maybe we should just turn back. However, we are prepared to have a vote. We would first like to start with a vote from the audience. All those in the audience in favor of the intrepid Hecker family going through this watershed, raise your hands. Aha. All those in favor in the car of not going, let me rephrase that. All those not in favor, please raise your hands.
Not in favor of what?
The three members of the Hecker family in the car have voted against going forward. All of the members in the audience have voted in favor of them going forward.
Gordon.
So we're going. Really moving very fast. There would be a chance that we would definitely.
Continuing our saga, we've been washed out of the Fox Glacier Road because of that rushing water. We're now on our way to the Franz Joseph Glacier. We'll see what that's going to look like. But we stopped on one of these hairpin turns that hopefully you can see to give you some idea of the driving conditions. See what we've got in front of us now on the road. There's been a washout with heavy mud, and Gordon's going to try and drive around it or through it. We made it. Good work, Gord. Way to go. This entire trip has been one life-threatening experience after another. Falls. Water just gushing over the mountainside. A typical kind of stream that you can see of rushing water coming through this tropical rainforest.
Want to shoot through?
The road is just washed out. This is the Franz Joseph Glacier Valley Walk.
Or swim.
And as you can see, the whole place is flooded. The glacier is somewhere. Nowhere to be found. All you can see is a mist. There are several other Michigoum who are up here.
Can you see it, Boyd?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind trying to get that away.
If you can see what we can see on the road, but we've got company. Fortunately, they look like cows and not bulls. And here's the farmer. This is a very curious little one. We're on the Tasmanian Sea. You can hear a blizzard. But it's not raining. There's a patch of blue in the sky, which we haven't seen for a couple of days. But I did want you to have a look at the ocean. The town of Hakatika, and that's where we have stayed. We're going to have breakfast right there now. And there is the tourist who's been following us for days. Well, we're leaving Hakatika. We've got blue skies. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be going through Arthur's Pass, which is about 900 meters high. We have no idea what the weather is going to be like. We've had nothing but 3 days of rain, and we're told we're heading into some areas where they've had very heavy winds on the other side of the Southern Alps, as this mountain range is known. Here's one of their famous single-lane bridges. Unfortunately, the wheelbase of this car isn't quite designed for this bridge.
Jesus.
Gordon has a few choice words to say.
Good God, help us.
Thank you, Gordon. And now back to the main announcer.
I don't know what we're riding on, but I don't think it's the wheels of this car.
No, thank you, God. It's train track.
Sheila has just commented that that water looks like snow. It's all white, but thank goodness it's still sunny. And we're enjoying the warmth of sitting in the car and having the sun warm it all up. It's interesting countryside. Not terribly pretty. Something of a view. Of what this coast looks like. We haven't approached the pass yet. It's about 50 or 60 kilometers, but it looks as if we're going to lose the sun. We've come through another rainforest.
Probably end up in 5 minutes.
But I did want you to have a look at the shrouded mist. Just by the side of the road. But they've decided to run. They're very timid creatures, and they're leaving. There's some interesting waterfalls on the other side of the river. The countryside is really quite spectacular. It looks harsh.
Not tied down.
Okay. And you can see how over the years it has brought down all of this shale and rock. Perhaps it's been brought down when there were glaciers in this part of the country. Right in front of us, I'm shooting it through the window because it's going to be too wet to do anything else. Started to rain again, but I did want you to get
these umbrellas are being used because it's too windy for helicopters today. Sight. Now, if we're able to put it right side up, then I think we're going to take off for the glacier. We seem to have run into a problem yesterday. Can you believe this in this magnificent weather? Gorgeous setting, the magic of an umbrella. Okay, here he is.
not too much.
That's it, guys. Bye-bye.
The other way, dear. The other way. Up now, look. It's okay. We're still traveling in the Donner Pass, not Donner, in the Arthur's Pass, and came across this very beautiful view of a valley and thought we would stop and shoot it. We're still about an hour away from Christchurch. 1 o'clock, we're at the Cathedral Square in Christchurch. Here's the cathedral, right over here. And there are obviously some large buildings. This is quite a large square. We're going to try and find a pretty place where we can have lunch and see a little bit of the town and then check in. We found this lovely outdoor cafe with a lovely fountain right beside it, and that will be lunch, Christchurch, and then we'll check into the Noah's Hotel. We're just wandering through the Art Centre of Christchurch, which was originally the university, and they have now developed it into a craft centre. And I hope all of the buildings, formerly university buildings, are now being used for different kinds of arts and crafts. Obviously, this is a food court with different kinds of food. Greek food. food, Czechoslovakian food, Lebanon, Indian, Korea, more Lebanon, some Thai, Mexico. Really a wonderful idea. So that people can wander through and enjoy the arts and crafts, and at the same time have something to eat.
Your chance of coming over here and helping more salt than the world wide. The salt is only found in and around New Zealand. So if you're from overseas, you're visiting New Zealand, welcome to New Zealand. Good to see you here. Don't wait to collect all the tacos this side. Thanks very much. Yeah, don't worry, thanks for selling the next time.
That's Gordon. And there's Sheila. We're in the Botanical Gardens on a Sunday on the Avon River. It's a very beautiful garden. They have many examples of different trees. More of this very beautiful park, or botanical gardens. Because it's a Sunday, I guess there are a lot of people out. Too early for the swimming pool to be open, but certainly early, warm enough for people to be wearing shorts and to have their children out. They're the same two tourists that dog me wherever I go. Right up there.
What should I do after I catch him?
Follow them.
Just spending a lovely afternoon. There they are. Smile!
Thank you.
Boy, it's moving faster, 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 faster. Gotcha.
Have you got your 16th of October in Christchurch? It's a Monday and we've come to visit the shul. It's called Bethel, as you can see. And the community dates back to 1881. This new addition was just recently completed in 1987, and it's on a main street not far from the center of town, and the door is open, so we'll go in and see what happens.
Represented the outside wall of the old synagogue and was in fact on the second story, incorporated in the building. And at great expense and difficulty we managed to remove it in its entirety and put it here as a feature on the end wall of the synagogue. So, and it lights up behind. The lights aren't on at the moment, but the lights behind make it stand out, and it's a very interesting, beautiful feature.
Lovely feature.
All the woodwork you see here is kauri, New Zealand kauri, and was in fact in the old synagogue. And we've managed to preserve and bring it here, transport it in one piece, as it were. And you can see the all-member is a beautiful old piece.
So how old would this be, this
all
woodwork?
Of this is about 100 years old.
Oh, it's the
From
original.
1881, from the original
Yes,
shul.
this is from the original shul. The synagogue, or rather the community here, began in about 1860. So, but with only a small room. I think they met in a small room. But this material you'll see here, and this stained glass windows came also from the old synagogue, as did all these seats.
And the ark?
The ark, now the top section of the ark came from the old synagogue, that top portion, with the Ten Commandments and the pillars and the Magen David. The lower part, unfortunately, when it was being transported, crumbled and broke, and we had to replace it. So it is now a marble piece, but is not the original.
So the women would sit on...
The women sit over that side.
On that side.
Yes, and the men on this.
Well, they really are separated visually, aren't
That's
they?
right, and if you don't want to see the women, you can sit behind the altar. The view inside the old synagogue.
Boy, it was
You
big.
can see it was a lovely big synagogue.
Lovely.
And there's the view there from, that's the president there, looking at the opening of the time capsule when we took the old synagogue down. There was a sealed urn there with all these pieces in it, coins, old newspaper from the Littleton Times, from 1881. Wow. Someone removed it.
Wonderful.
This statue is right across from our hotel, and we're just about to start on a city tour. It is of Scott, who is the Antarctic explorer. He set out from New Zealand. His wife was a sculptress, and she did this work. In visiting the museum yesterday, they had an exhibit on Arctic exploration, and Scott attempted to reach the South Pole, and indeed did reach it, but had been beaten to it a month earlier by a Norwegian explorer called Amundsen perhaps. In any event, he never made it back. He died on the return trip. Here is the hotel that we're staying at. Quite modern and really quite lovely. This building is the old City Hall that dates all the way back and now acts as a Chamber of Commerce and a Tourist Information Center. It's immediately beside the Avon River, which meanders through the town. Our guide has just told us that the town, which primarily was started in 1850 by 3,000 people who came over in 4 ships from England, was built on a swamp. This creek already existed. These are the provincial government buildings built in 1865.
This is the stone chamber.
Yes.
What do you mean by the stone?
It's called it was the big council room where the government met, and there were at that stage 36 members of government.
The entrance to a very exclusive residential area. This is the gatehouse keeper's home. And the river goes through this area.
I'll get out of the way. Yes, look at the little ducklings. These are private homes on the other side of the river.
This residence was purchased by the city of Christchurch in the early 70s, and we've just walked, I guess a quarter of a mile along the drive. The property is boundaried on one side by this lovely river. There are private homes on the other side of the river, but the main house itself is available for receptions, weddings, etc., and is really quite an attractive property. Here's the front of the house, and it's set up for some sort of a reception. The property seems to open up at this point.
To a Miss Townsend. Miss Townsend was the daughter of a North Canterbury sheep farmer, and Miss Townsend lived here on her own, and she is
Part of the property, including the gardener's a home back there, and they have magnificent gardens. And all of this in the middle of the city, beside a 450-acre park in the middle of the city, which includes a golf course.
I think if you focus on it,
Yeah, I'll try and get that story.
I'll keep quiet. By the Deans brothers in 1844. They came from Scotland. It was built on the edge of the Kahikatea forest. It's a very big, these are elm trees. The Kahikatea is right through this tall tree that you can see right through there. The edge of the forest now, it's got English deciduous trees. But this was the first house, and these were the first settlers. It was moved into this position, but you'll see, you can pass. I think it's very beautiful.
The Southern Alps over there. We're up in a little suburb high
up
up in the hills.
Up in Victoria Park, and you're shortly from the view from Victoria Park, you're looking out over the bay at Brighton, and up to the hills, up to Kaikoura and the skyline, a bit slower. There's the estuary, the Heskett estuary, and as far as you can see, the sea, the Pacific Ocean.
Now the city is in that direction?
Yes.
Christchurch?
This is housing districts.
Right.
And you'll see more of the city as we go up. We're looking at the Southern Alps. There's still a little snow. And we're looking out over Greater Christchurch. 250,000 occupants. Nearly all the people own their own homes. A large proportion of people in Christchurch settle here forever, though there are more of the young people that have moved from this city to the North Island and to Australia. We're at the area of the hills that we call the Kiwi. We're at the area of the hills called the Kiwi. There are many walks up and over the hills, and much of this property was given by early Christchurch businessmen for the we're at the sign of the Kiwi, a little rest house, and we're looking out over into Littleton Harbour. We're standing at the sign of the Kiwi at the top of the Port Hills, as we call them, the port of Littleton, and we're looking out into Littleton Harbour. The island, the largest island there, is called Quail Island. It was a place of quarantine. Some people think it was the stopper of the volcano. Looking down into Governor's Bay and to Teddington. If it were a blue sunny day, it would be reflecting the blue of the sky, and as it's grey today, a bit off colour, and it's fairly deep, it's just this turquoise colour. There are walks up throughout the hills.
We've come to the cemetery, and this portion of the cemetery is the Jewish cemetery, and you can see some of the gravestones. Unfortunately, it's not very clear.
Goes back to 1930, 1932. No, that won't be necessary, I think. This will give us a bit of a feel for it.
Born London, England, died at 1878.
1878. That is the Wizard of Canterbury, which we've been told we should go and listen to as he harangues his audience. I'll have difficulty in holding this up, watching him. If he catches me, he'll criticize me or do something.
Paid for the government in a building where children are forced to go because of law. If you actually like a school teacher, you end up as stupid as they are. Fancy not believing your mum. Girls who believe their school teachers believe that men run the world, and then they're told, go to it, copy men. When women copy men, they come down to men's level. Women copy men, and I am copying women. I treat females the same way old-fashioned females.
We've just climbed up the cathedral to the cathedral tower, and this is the view of the city from that vantage point. We'll go around to one of the other doors to see some of the other side.
I couldn't understand. Why is he going home now? Or is he going to start again? He's selling these things, isn't he?
Wednesday, October 19th in Auckland, and I'm part of the accompanying persons group.
My section of
see that again, Lucille. I want to capture it for posterity.
I know it's a mini can.
This group is not as musically talented.
Now, Gordon Ray.
Paradise duck. Very unusual color. And here are the goslings.
Do you have any leads on
If I can find it.
Or do you know anything about
I bet
opals?
Patty does.
Is she here yet?
No, but
They'll be here
because
tonight.
she really did say that, you know, if we wanted to be taken to a place,
Yeah.
she would do that for us. She knows the places.
It's just that we've been told that if you buy them here in New Zealand, you don't pay the 30% tax that you are now paying in Australia.